In the village of Nyaga, where the baobab trees stretched their arms toward the sky and the fields swayed with golden millet, the people lived in harmony with nature. The wind danced freely through the village, rustling the palm leaves, cooling the earth, and carrying the sweet scent of roasting maize from one homestead to another. But one fateful season, the wind disappeared. It began with a hush, an unnatural stillness that settled over Nyaga like an unwelcome stranger. The elders whispered of curses, the farmers lamented their drying crops, and the women fanned themselves endlessly, their brows glistening under the relentless sun. Children, once carefree, sat idly by the empty riverbeds, longing for the playful gust that once lifted their kites made of banana leaves. Whispers spread that Chief Odiru, the village ruler, had trapped the wind inside a great gourd sealed with red clay. The chief was a man of immense pride, adorned in leopard skins and beads of gold. He had always believed Nyaga was too generous with its blessings, that the wind carried away their riches to undeserving lands. He had summoned the village diviner, an old woman with eyes as sharp as a hawk's, who had guided him in a ritual to capture the wind and keep its power solely for himself. But not everyone in Nyaga accepted this fate. Among them was a girl named Amani. She was no warrior, nor the daughter of any great elder. She was simply the orphan child of a weaver, raised by her grandmother, who told her stories beneath the acacia tree each evening. Amani's heart burned with a quiet fire, a defiance that made her different. While others bowed to Chief Odiru's will, she dared to ask, who gives a man the right to own the wind? One night, as the villagers struggled to sleep in the suffocating heat, Amani crept out of her grandmother's hut and made her way to the chief's compound. It was heavily guarded. Warriors sat around the entrance, their spears glinting in the moonlight. But Amani had watched them for days. She knew they grew tired and careless in the late hours, nodding off with the weight of their full bellies. Slipping past them, she moved like a shadow, her bare feet silent against the dry earth. At the heart of the compound stood the sacred hut where Chief Odiru kept his most prized possessions. And there, sitting atop a wooden stand, was the great gourd. It was as large as a drum, its surface adorned with carving of swirling winds and birds in flight. The red clay seal was untouched. Amani felt the absence of the wind pressing against her chest, heavy and unnatural. She knew what she had to do. She reached for the gourd, but a voice stopped her. You dare steal from the chief? Amani turned to find Mwana, one of the chief's guards, standing in the doorway. He was young, only a few years older than Amani, and he had once played in the same fields where the wind used to dance. Now he stood between her and freedom. Do you not miss it? Amani whispered, her voice steady. The cool breeze after a long day, the way it carried the smell of your mother's cooking. Do you not feel how wrong this is? Mwana hesitated. The chief's orders were law, but law could not quench thirst nor cool the sting of the sun. Amani saw the battle in his eyes, the struggle between duty and truth. You will not stop me, she said, and to her surprise, he stepped aside. Mani lifted the gourd with trembling hands. It was heavier than she had expected, as if it carried the weight of all the winds of the world. She ran, her heart pounding against her ribs. The village slept in silence, unaware of the storm she was about to unleash. Outside the compound, she climbed the highest hill, where the village used to watch the sunrise. With one deep breath, she raised the gourd above her head and shattered the seal against the rocks. The sound echoed like a great clap of thunder. For a moment, there was nothing, a terrible stillness, a breath held too long. Then the wind roared to life. It burst from the broken gourd in a wild frenzy, howling through the trees, sweeping across the village, sending pots and baskets tumbling. The people woke, gasping as the first rush of cool air kissed their faces. The baobab trees shuddered, the millet fields bent in gratitude, and the river, long stagnant, rippled once more. Chief Odiru stormed out of his hut, his robes billowing as he roared, "Who has done this?" Amani stood atop the hill, the broken gourd at her feet, her hair whipping in the wind's joyous dance. The villagers gathered, their faces alight with awe and relief. For the first time in moons, they could breathe again. Moana stepped forward before the chief could speak. "She has done what you should never have done," he declared. "She has returned what belongs to all of us." Chief Odiru's rage swelled like a river in flood, but the people had seen the truth. They had tasted freedom again, and no man, chief or not, could take it from them. But the chief was not ready to let go of his power so easily. He called upon his guards, commanding them to seize Amani. Yet something unexpected happened. The villagers, once silent, stepped forward, placing themselves between the chief and the girl. The elders, women, and even the children formed a circle around her, their faces set in quiet determination. "The wind is ours," an old woman said, stepping forward with the wisdom of age etched in her wrinkled face. "We will not allow you to take it from us again." Defeated, Chief Odiru's shoulders slumped. He knew that his power relied on the will of the people, and at that moment, the people had spoken. Amani's name was forever remembered in the songs of Nyaga. She became more than a girl. She became a legend. And whenever the wind rushed through the village, cooling the earth and whispering through the trees, the people smiled, knowing that it carried the spirit of the girl who had set it free.